we won and
Lady Sale podcast.
Yes! Dang it. She did win that one fair and square. And I was all like, I've got it. Before I hit the control. I got it. I'm Jade.
Last one.
I'm Jade.
I'm sorry. It was serious time when I was still dancing.
You were still dancing?
Yes.
That's why
trying to make sure that like I don't have a wardrobe. No,
I was wondering
Wait.
how she was doing this because I was like, this is gonna be a real malfunction if it malfunctions. See, this is why I can't do it. You live that scandalous like that life, that life on the cusp of danger.
It's because I have no cups, so I can live the life on the cusp.
I can't.
Anyway,
I can't do it. I'm Jade.
And I'm Mona.
And sometimes
strike that thing from the record. I don't think I want my.
The whole world knows now. You said it is done. So yeah. So we wrote literary life guides of pop poetry. Sometimes y'all, we have some wise things to say, but we just save it for writing. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
Not out of our mouths. That would be crazy. Just writing. So and I thought the voice was there with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir and verse, food and coffee. And the Whittles website where you get your audiobooks. All right, but y'all aren't here to hear. Oh, you can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about us go on and on. You're here to hear from
our wonderful guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sara, or actually Pop Sara, that I call myself sometimes, and I am a complete pop nerd for Swedish indie pop, and I've made a music fanzine on and off for 27 years now, which is called Fozzie Fanzine, after the Bear and the Muppets.
Yeah. Okay, how did you fall in love with pop in general? Then how did you fall in love with indie pop?
I think it started with I had an older sister who was 2 years older than me. She's not alive anymore, unfortunately. But when she was a teenager, she was like the cool big sister that I looked up to. And I listened to all the music that she listened to. And it was a lot of Swedish pop, but also Prince was her biggest idol. And I love Prince still to this day. But she listened to a lot of Swedish music. And then when I started studying at the university in Uppsala, I started going to a record store. And the guys who worked there they kind of noticed what I liked, and they kept recommending things to me. And then one day, they recommended American music to me, but then I saw an album cover, which was bright green and blue and pink jello. What's it called? Jello pudding. I was like, that is like the most beautiful album cover I've ever seen. So I was asked to listen to it, which you could do in the 90s. You could listen to an album that you saw in a shop. And it was a Swedish band called This Perfect Day. And it was like violins and guitars and like very upbeat. And I was like, I just fell in love with it. I thought that was the best thing I'd ever heard. So I just kept looking for music in that same genre. So I've always loved music and listened to a lot of music. But then in the early 90s, there was so many good Swedish bands coming out, and I just loved it. So
that's how you fell in love with it. So how did you start your magazine? I mean, first you had to have the idea. So when did the idea come to you? And then just how did you get it off the ground?
I don't remember exactly, actually, because it was a while ago, but I liked writing. When I was a kid, I was like dreaming of writing novels, but I wasn't very good at it. But when I started studying, I thought that I would like to start writing about music. So I contacted the local newspaper and asked if I could do like reviews or something. And he said, yeah, sure. But he was so slow. He gave me like one assignment, and then it took like 2 months to the next one. So I thought that, well, it's probably easy just to do it myself. And this was in the 90s when there were a lot of fanzines about music and other things as well. So I thought that can't be that hard. I looked at some other fanzines and thought, just take a few photos and do a few interviews and then write about it. So I did that, and I photocopied the first issue myself, like a regular photocopier, and just stapled it together. And I had a fanzine, and then I sold it at my student. I don't know the word. It was called the Student Nation, where people were gathering and they had a lot of concerts and stuff. So I sold it there, and then there were bands playing there, so it was very easy to get interviews. So I basically just did it. And then after the first 2 issues, I had a friend help me out a little bit. And then I don't know. And then I got quite a good reputation. So it was easy to get interviews, and got on like Swedish national TV for an interview. And so it's really a lot of fun. So, and then I did 7 issues in the 90s, and then I got a job and just quit for a few years. But then I started again, and then I had another break for 12 years, and then I started again 3 years ago.
Wow. So what do you wish you knew then that you know now? A couple of things. Give us 2.
Well, it's actually harder for me now. So it's almost the other way around, because I'm not sure how it is in the States, but in Sweden, all music magazines have shut down. People don't buy music, they don't buy magazines anymore, especially not music magazines, because everything is available online. And I love the paper thing. I want to create something that I can keep. I'm like a collector. I still like CDs, for example. So I love having my physical magazine. And it's really hard because people don't buy it anymore. In the 90s, it was so easy, and also it was cheaper. I mean, it was photocopied. Now it's this fancy thing. My husband is an art director, so he does a layout, and it looks really, really good now, and it's more expensive. So it's hard to sell it. So I don't know. But what I wish I don't know. I was pretty cocky. I just went up to people and asked to interview them. So,
but you get good interviews now.
Yes.
Like, I know it was in Swedish.
Mhm.
But I did translate some of the stuff, and I was like, oh, well, that's an interesting person. I mean, the picture was really pretty, and I was like, I have to know, what does this say? So you get good interviews now, and your pictures are like everywhere, and you look adorable, by the way.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Also, I did have the question about fashion, because you seem to always be fashion forward, kind of like your magazine is always glossy and gorgeous and like different styles of photos in it. How do you maintain that edginess?
For the magazine?
Yes.
I don't know, the look of it is actually my husband's. I mean, that's thanks to him, because he's so good at the layout. Because I can actually show you one of the oldest issues from the 90s that look like this. I mean, that doesn't look very good. So I'm better at writing than the photocopy black and white stuff. I'm good at writing, but he's very good at the layout. So now it's like this. It's very fancy, and all the nice photos. And I actually have, because I still have quite a good reputation for this fanzine, I've actually had real photographers ask if they can work with me, and I don't have a budget, so they're basically doing it for free. So, and I take some of the photos myself as well, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a plan. I'm just doing it from pure enthusiasm, because I really love doing it. It's just
absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's like
our entire life.
That's our entire bed. Like, we're
Yeah.
just doing it for the fun of it. Why not? So
if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But hey, we tried it.
We
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I should ask the last 2 questions. First, what are like the 3 things that you would want to tell the next generation trying to come along and pick up the torch where you left off? And then second, where can people find this fun magazine?
Well, it's all in Swedish, unfortunately, but I am actually going to put it up digitally soon, because it's so hard to sell it. And I thought that, because I mean, I am really doing it because I love all the artists that I write about, and I think that they deserve more attention. And many of the artists that I write about are not very famous. For me to write about them, everything they need, I mean, I just have to love it. It doesn't matter if they have like 100 streams a month or 1 million streams a month, but many of them don't have a lot of streams. So I think that they deserve more attention. And since I don't sell that many issues, it's better to put it up online, and I won't make any money from it. But I mean, I don't do that anyway. I just want to get the money back that I put into printing, basically. I mean, I have a regular job, or I'm a freelance copywriter. So I forgot the question. That was where you can get it.
Where can people
from? If you find my,
Yeah.
if you go to my Instagram, fozziefanzine.com, Fozzie Fanzine, Fozzie like the Fozzie the bear from the Muppet Show, Fozzie Fanzine. Then there's a link to my web shop. Was there another part of the question that I forgot?
No, you know what?
You
You did a good job. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your like busy schedule in the evening.
I want to say one thing.
Yes.
That like, although the magazine might be in Swedish, most of the posts are in English.
Right.
So that's why I was
no, they're not.
in English.
Some of them was, well, maybe we had Google Translate that day. How about that?
Yeah. Oh my God. I did say translate.
It did say translate, and we were like, click.
Oh yeah, you can translate it on Instagram. Yeah.
So y'all, seriously, translate it. It'll be well worth.
It is.
It's well worth it. All right, so I guess I'll go ahead and wrap us up. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughladies.com. While you're there, go to the middle of the page, the charities that we probably support. You can support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade. Bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.